the computer. Yes. Yay, we are recording. We have everything going. We can hear. Yay.
No crickets, no cricket sounds.
Oh my goodness. You know what? And I had a huge interview last week, and the same thing happened last week. And I was like, oh my goodness, Dr. Nicole, I'm so sorry. So I don't, know. And it's the same, thing that I do with everything, my computer and my iPad and all that good stuff. So, but we just ain't gonna let him win tonight. We're gonna go forward, and we're gonna.
Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
The Holy Spirit just dropped something in my spirit, and I want to share with you.
Okay.
Every time before you go live, pray.
Mm-hmm.
Go and sit in a quiet room and usher in the Holy Spirit and pray.
Yes.
Because the devil is attacking your interview.
Oh, yes.
Because you got something to say. And
yes.
You got something that the world needs to hear. Yes. And your ministry is a very powerful ministry. Your ministry is going to go worldwide.
Yes.
And the devil knows that your ministry is going to go worldwide. The devil knows that there are women that need to hear you and hear your ministry. The devil knows this. Just like he knows what God has instilled inside of you.
Yes.
So he's going to try to stop you. He's going to try to block you. That's why the technical difficulties that you're having or your interviews you're having, because the devil is trying to stop you from getting that word out. God has a word inside of you that the women of this country, the women of this world need to hear. They need to see your face. They need to hear your voice. They need to know that what you're saying. They need to feel your presence. And the devil knows this. So he's going to try to block you. He's going to try to do whatever he can to stop you. But God is saying, you shall not be stopped.
No.
You shall not be stopped.
Absolutely.
And everything that he's placed inside of you shall go forth in the name of Jesus.
In the name of Jesus. I receive it 100%. And you know what, Latrea? I already know it because he showed it to me in a dream. And I was scared because I said, no, not me. I said, God, I'm not polished. I'm not prepared. I don't know all this stuff like the other ladies. I can't do this like they do it. And he said, no, I'm going to equip you. He said, all I want you to do is say yes. So all I want you to do is be willing. He said, I'm going to protect you. I'm going to cover you. And when I say he gives me the words, that's why I don't like to send out like interview questions, because I want it to be an authentic conversation. I tell everybody, you're coming into my home. This is my office that I do my work in every day, and I'm ushering people into my home. So I want it to be an intimate conversation with real sisters, real sister talk. And you don't prepare questions when you invite someone to your home to sit down and have real sister conversation. So I absolutely know that's what it is, because this has taken on something totally different now, because I'm at peace when I do it. I absolutely love it. It brings me joy to talk to other women, to empower them, to inspire them. And I'm just like, and sometimes I get off and I'm like, oh, Lord, that was all you. That was all you. That's all I did was just sit there and open my mouth. You put everything in there. And I'm like, how absolutely amazing it is to journey with women, to see them evolve. And I have this online program that I created, and it's called Evolution, the Evolution Experience, Evolve with Arlene. And they don't know exactly how powerful that is when you start walking with someone and people believe in you. And they believe in your voice, and they believe in what you're doing, and they cheer you on. That is the most absolutely amazing evolution that we can have as women, cheering each other on. Yeah. So thank you so much for that prayer. Thank you so much for those words of encouragement. And I know that's what it is, because he's been attacking my body, my health, since the end of March. And I had to go to the emergency room last Wednesday when I was supposed to do the big interview I was talking about, and my blood pressure was sky high. They could not get it down. I didn't think I was going to do the interview. And everybody, when they saw me that evening, because my bishop, we have a prayer every morning at 7, and he said my name on the prayer and told everybody I was on my way to the emergency room to be praying for me. And when they saw me that evening, they said, "And you're smiling." I was smiling because I know it was nobody but God waving his hand, protecting me, covering me, because my blood pressure had got up to 183 over 110.
Ooh.
I supposed to have had a stroke and probably been in somebody's coma. I can't help but to smile.
That's right. That's right.
And I've been put on 2 blood pressure medications to keep my blood pressure down, but that's not going to be forever. That is just
That's
now.
right. That's just a momentary thing.
Yes, because he's trying to do what he can to shut my body down, but I will not allow it, and God won't have it. So yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Because that was a very, very true statement. And see, you didn't even know all that was going on. And so thank you. Thank you.
No,
Thank
I was just being obedient to the Holy Spirit. That's what the
you,
Holy
ma'am.
Spirit had dropped in my spirit. And I was just being obedient. Excuse me, I was just being obedient to the Holy Spirit.
Yes, ma'am.
But
All
God is
right.
so good. He's so
He is.
good.
He's absolutely amazing. And
Yes,
I
he
love
is.
it. And I tell people all the time, you can't tell me nothing about him.
Okay,
You
okay.
can't, as the old folks say, you can't make me doubt him. Because I know
Okay,
too much
okay.
about
Okay, because I know too much about him. I done seen you. Look, don't get me started now. Because I done seen him do too much.
him.
I done
Yes.
seen him move too many mountains. I done seen him open too many doors. And ain't too much you can tell me about him. Okay, too much.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, well, we're going to jump right in, and you
Okay.
just start over with your introduction. And I promise this going to be the last time.
Yeah,
Thank you
no,
so
this is gonna be the
much.
time. So look, I pray in between you getting this Zoom link. I pray and I
Yes,
pray hard.
yes.
So yeah, this is gonna be it. Okay, so all right. So as I said before, my name is Coach Latrea Wyche. I am a disability empowerment coach, motivational speaker, and published author. I am originally from Washington, D.C. I currently live in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I have a 14-year-old daughter. Let's see what else. Oh, how did I become the empowerment coach? Well, the disability empowerment coach. This actually has been quite a journey, I will say, quite a journey. I started out as just a coach, if you will. And then I went from a coach to a spiritual life coach.
Okay.
And then from a spiritual life coach to a disability empowerment coach.
Okay.
Now, throughout this journey, what I was doing in the beginning and what God showed me was I was following different paths. Because when I started coaching, there was a coach on every corner, you know, and there were coaches everywhere doing, and everybody had their own personal little niche or whatever. And then they would have, we're going to show you how to get rich in 50 days, or we're going to show you how to write a book in 30 days, or we're going to show you how to do this, show you how to do this. And I spent all of this money trying to find my place and find where I was supposed to be. And it was just like drawing things up against the wall to see what sticks. And if it sticks, then that must have meant that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And yeah, some things stuck for a while, but they slowly slid down off the wall because that was not what I was supposed to be doing.
Right.
And in the early stages, I can remember him telling me, and you know, we all go through those phases, but we're hard-headed and we don't listen. But I can remember him telling me, we're not going to get it the way everybody else get it. It's not going to happen for you the way that it happened for everybody else.
Absolutely.
You got to do things differently.
Yep.
And, you know, me being me, because I'm a little hard-headed. I'm a little hard-headed. And I'm like,
me too.
Well, God, what you mean? I'm not going to get it like I get it.
Right. Right.
I'm a little slow on the drop.
Yes.
So it was just like for years, I just kept hitting my head up again. And well, not so much hitting my head, But I kept going around in a merry-go-round, and a merry-go-round, and a merry-go-round. And that's what happens when we don't listen to God, and we don't heed what God is telling us, and what God is
Right.
telling our inner man. We continue to go on this merry-go-round, and God will sit there and watch us go on this
Yep.
merry-go-round, and He'll be like, okay, when you want to listen, then we'll stop and we'll do it. We'll do it the right way.
Right.
But some of us continue on that merry-go-round. So I continued on that merry-go-round for a while. And with that being said, I was like, okay. So I think I want to say it was during the pandemic that I finally understood what God was saying.
Mm-hmm.
I finally tapped into what He was saying. You're not gonna get it the way they got it, because what you're doing is you're creating something. Most
Right.
people are walking into something that's already been created. You're creating something. So when
Wow.
you're creating something, it's going to take more work. It's going to take more effort. It's going to take more time. It's going to cost more stress. You're going to have to go through more valleys, more mountains, more peaks. You're going to have different things that you're going to have to go through because you're creating something. You're creating a door for people behind you. There are people
Right.
behind you that's going to follow you through the door that you're creating. It's one thing to walk through a door that's already been done, but it's another thing to create a door for somebody else to walk through.
Right.
And that's what God has showed me. You're
Right.
creating a door for others to walk through. That's how when people see me and they say, oh, you did a wonderful job. And I'm grateful for what I am. But I tell people all the time, this has nothing to do with Latrea.
Right.
Nothing at all to do with Latrea. This is about the people behind Latrea. This is about the people that are going to come after me. When I'm long gone and I'm sitting down somewhere in a rocking chair with some lemonade, and the people that are going to come after me. That's what this is about. So they're going to have to struggle as hard as I had to struggle. They're going to have to work so hard.
Right.
So, yeah, that's how I became Coach Latrea.
And that is so amazing that you said creating a door for people behind you, because a lot of times doors are not open freely for people with disabilities. People with disabilities, they, like I said on the previous, what we were trying to do on the previous platform, a lot of times people with disabilities are the forgotten community. And I know early on I had to learn how to advocate for my daughter. I had to learn how to parent her, because I'm thinking that, we have this child, like I was saying, she's just perfect and she's just going to be like perfect like her mom and perfect like her dad. And neither one of us is perfect. And, you have this false sense of who you are until you have children.
Right.
And then you really see you're not so great like you thought you were.
And I really thought it was.
Right. So with that, I love the fact that you said creating a door for people behind you, because I always say, hear my cry. I'm the Moses of hear my cry. My daughter is the Joshua. She's going to be the one that's going to bring them in, going to take them further than I ever did. I'm setting this up for her, and she's going to be the one that's going to walk into the promised land. That's why it's very important for me to always show her and teach her and talk to her about what I'm doing. Did you find it hard for you when you started trying to talk to other people with disabilities as far as their mindset to say, we can do this? Was it a hard thing, or just an uncharted waters where nobody kind of talked to them about something like that?
Well, the thing about it is, it's kind of a twofold thing. Okay. Now, I'm a militant, if you will. And I'm one of those, and I say this now.
Me too.
I tell people all the time, I'm like, look, July 26th marks the 30-year anniversary of the ADA.
Okay.
There are 57.7 million people that suffer from, or not suffer from, sorry, that deal with disabilities in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And we as a community have spent a vast amount of time begging and pleading for society to provide us with certain things.
Right.
We have spent a vast majority of time trying to get society to meet us in the middle, if you will.
Right.
We have spent a vast majority of time trying to teach society about disability.
Right.
We have spent a vast majority of time wanting a seat at the table. Well, you know what? Guess what? It is 2020. I no longer want a seat at your table. I want the table. Okay?
Absolutely.
I want the table.
Absolutely.
All right? Because it's been far too, we've been doing this merry-go-round. We've been going through this circle for far too long.
Yep.
And to be at 2020 and I still got to explain to you about disability, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. We should be past this by now.
Yeah.
We should be past this by now. But in the terms of the community, first, we have to get them to understand that they're worth it.
Exactly.
We have to get their mindset in a place where they feel like they deserve it.
Right.
It's not so much of, and I hate to use this as a example, but this is the best example I can come up with, the slave mentality. Mm-hmm. Like, we got to go ask master before we can do something. Or we got to go ask master before we can do this. No, we can do it. We are equipped. We are smart enough. We are able enough to do this. Yep. We don't have to go ask anybody for permission to live. We don't have to ask anybody for permission to exist. We just live and just exist.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you 100% because a lot of times, I remember when we got our the diagnosis for our daughter. And at that time, I did not know that my family had a history of mental illness in our family. So, then you start to wonder, how did this happen? How did this come about? I don't see, my nephew is fine. I'm fine. My sister's fine. But my brothers did have challenges in school, but there was never a diagnosis. And then I find that my grandfather actually had a diagnosis of schizophrenia. Did not know that until after I had my daughter, after we start seeing the developmental delays and the things go on. And then you start asking questions because, where did this come from? Because nobody in our family, that's so hard.
It is.
How do you talk to families and mothers, the parents, families as a whole about talking about disability in the families? Because it's still such a taboo thing in the Black community. He just crazy. He just crazy.
I'm glad
he just this. He just that. And they never
address it.
Yes.
And
yes.
That is the thing, and that's one of the things that I before I do that, I do pray, because see, God is still working with my mouth, and I can be kind of loose with the mouth sometimes. And sometimes I just say the first thing that comes to my mind is to get who I'm talking to.
Right. Right.
Kind of come and sit with me and kind of calm my mouth a little bit, so you know how I am. But anyway. With African American parents, I tend to talk a little different than what I do Caucasian parents.
Right.
Just because Caucasian parents are more, and I even hate to say this, but they're more embracing when it comes to disability compared to our community. Now, this was something that I had brought up before, and I said it, and people told me I was crazy. But I've had you confirm it, I've had other people confirm it, so I know I'm not crazy.
Oh, you're not.
And with African American parents, I try to explain to them that at the end of the day, when all is said and done, your child receiving the services that she needs or she needs to be the best individual in life should be the concern. We shouldn't be worrying about shame.
Right.
We shouldn't be worrying about guilt. Because
Right.
at the end of the day, shame and guilt is not what's going to provide your child with the best services that they need.
Right.
We should be trying to figure out how can we provide the best services that we can give or we can get for your child. Did you know that in the prison system, 60% of the males in the prison system have an undiagnosed disability?
Mm-hmm.
From the prison, I think it's prison pipeline. In the prison pipeline system, 60% of the African American males in the prison system has an undiagnosed disability. Okay, and a lot of this comes from those males being back in like kindergarten and pre-K and all of that, and they never got diagnosed.
Right.
Or if a child was diagnosed with ADHD or ADD or something like that, our first inclination is, oh, they just bad.
Right.
They just bad. They just
Right.
hard-headed. And spike them and punish them and go about your business.
Right.
Not realizing that there's a deeper issue. I'll use my daughter for an example. My daughter has ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
I knew my daughter had ADHD at first grade, when she was in first grade.
Mm-hmm.
And because what happened was she would go to school and she would always get in trouble for talking.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would come home and I would talk to her. I'm like, Olivia, you can't be at school talking like that because you interrupting the person that you're talking to. You ain't learning, they ain't learning. Y'all both sitting here not learning that. So I need you to stop talking.
Right.
And so it continued on for a while. And I'm not gonna lie, a couple of times I did punish her because I thought she was just being defiant.
Mm-hmm.
But then one day she said something to me that made me look a little deeper. She said, Mommy, I don't want to talk. I just can't help it. I don't want to do these things. I just can't help it.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay. I said to myself, well, there might not be nothing to it, but then again, there might be something to it.
Right.
And I don't want to be one of those parents that overlooks the obvious that's just staring me right in my face.
Right.
So I took her, I got her tested, and we've been walking this road together ever since.
Right.
So I think that parents have to be at least open to the idea of if there's a problem, addressing the problem and not addressing the symptoms, if that makes any sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
Like the symptoms would be a child cutting up in class. A
Mm-hmm.
symptom would be a child not sitting in their seat. A symptom would be a child fidgeting. A symptom would be lashing out in anger.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all symptoms. Those are not problems. Those are symptoms. So we have to kind of be able to dissect the difference between a symptom and a problem. Let's not address the symptom. Let's address the problem that's causing the symptoms.
Right. And when my daughter was, because we were those parents at first, because my husband and I, again, like I said, we're perfect. We what do you mean something is wrong with our child? She my child. There's nothing wrong with her. We
you
went
sound like
through
her
that.
dad. My old dad was like that.
Yeah.
What you mean?
Yeah, we went through that denial. We went through that denial period. We went through that embarrassment period. We went through that shame period. And I went through a depression with this. And I actually had to take medication for a while because I just could not handle the fact that this was, as I called it at the time, God, you gave me this child. Why would you give me a child like this? I was angry with God. And I was angry for a while, and I just sat one day and I was like, why, God? Why? And I heard him say, why not you? What makes you so different from all the other parents that have children like this? What makes you so special that you can't love this child that I've gifted to you? I was so convicted. When I looked at my baby, after that conversation with God, I never felt shame. I never felt anything but I'm going to make sure that you have the best life that any little kid can ever say they had. From that day forward, I say you will lack nothing as far as your knowledge, as far as what you need. Every service that she needed, I made sure she had. Whatever I had to find out, whoever I had to talk to, I shared my story, and I got away from it being about me and my husband, about us, a reflection of who we are. This was a beautiful, absolutely perfect child, the way that God gave her to us. And when I say that she is one of the best human beings I know, and connected to me, that I know. And I tell people all the time, if I don't know if nobody in my household saved, I know my child saved. Because when I say she is connected to the good Lord himself, she is connected to him. And I just think about, if I did not get out of myself and get her the help she needs, she would not be anything, because I had to be intentional about being her mom. I had to be intentional about being her advocate, and I had to be intentional about letting her know everything. I talked to her about everything, every step of the way. Okay, we got to do this. We got to go and see this doctor, and this is why we're going to see this doctor. This is the medication you have. This is why they say you need to take this medication. When I tell you, she is so smart about just how to handle her care, how to handle just things, and you can't give her anything that she don't know anything about. The first thing, if it's a new medication or they got it from a different manufacturer and it don't look the way it looked before, she'll tell you, what's this? This is not how my medicine used to look. I didn't take this. Is this something new? Dr. Byers gave me a new medicine. And I looked at her one day. I was like, do you think I would give you something to hurt you? She was like, she said, I'm just saying. I just want to know.
But that is good. That is good.
It was
That's
so funny.
That is the one thing that I tell my when I used to do workshops with parents all the time. That is the one thing that I would tell my parents. You have to raise your child.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to live forever.
Yeah, and we're not. And that was the thing.
That you was have to raise your child like you are not going to live forever. Because at the end of the day, truth of the matter is,
right.
Yeah, you're not going to live forever. Sorry.
And I tell her, I said, Mommy, it's not going to be with you always. These are things that I need you to know before I'm no longer here with you.
Right.
And she said, Mommy, you know, when you go to heaven, I'm going to be so upset. I'm going to be so, she said, oh, she said, but I know you're going to be with the Lord. So I'm going to be all right. You know, even having conversations like that now, we talk about death. We talk about when I'm no longer going to be with her. And we talk about just our love for each other and sitting down. So when I see, and I spoke at a elementary school, and I was talking to some parents and shared my story. And the disability teachers, special education teachers came up to me and they thanked me. And then I had some parents wanted to talk to me. And I knew when this one parent came to me, I knew that they had just got their diagnosis, because she was just in tears. She was about to fall apart. And I told her, I said, look, I said, don't cry because of this being the situation. I said, you cry when, you know, it's too much. Cry when, you know, you need to. I said, no one can tell you. I said, because you're your child's, you know, that's your baby. I said, cry, get it out. I said, but don't let, I told you got to make room for this in your household. Don't allow your child not to be the same as your other children.
That's
allow
right.
him or her the opportunity. It was a little boy. I said, allow him the opportunity. I said, sit down, have a family meeting. Everybody needs to be a part of this. Talk about this is what we're going to do. I said, because if we do not, then it will suffocate and it will take your family and it will tear it apart.
Yeah.
Because you will not know how to live with it if you don't allow it room in your home.
Right. Right. And I think a lot of people, when you say it like that, I think a lot of times people take it the wrong way. I think they take it as they have to wear it as a badge of honor. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, not necessarily. I
No.
said, does my disability affect a large part of my life? Yeah, sometimes it does, because I can't drive.
Hmm.
But is it the only part of my life? Nope. Nope. It's just that I tell people all the time, my disability is just an extra puzzle piece to the
Right.
larger puzzle of Latrea.
Right.
And God felt like I needed that extra puzzle piece. So
Right.
there
That's
it is.
that's good. That's good. And you know, it's I I was always very active in what was going on at school with Ariel and her teachers. I wanted her teachers to know they had a direct line. My cell phone, my whatever phone, whatever my email, whatever you need, I need you to use it whenever you need it. There's no you call me at this time, you call me anytime because you have my child. You have my only child. So therefore, whatever is important, whatever's going on with her, is 100% number one priority for me.
Right.
So I was a lot of times when she got in high school, then teachers would be like, you know, your mom is gonna have to let go. She's, you know, too overprotective and all this and that. I said, you tell them that your mama said. I said, don't tell me nothing about my child. That is my child. Because if I was a parent that didn't care anything about her and was not advocating for her, then it would be a problem then.
Well, I think okay. There's dual sides to that,
Mm-hmm.
because I've dealt with parents and I've dealt with children, well not children, but I've dealt with young people that have disabilities,
Mm-hmm.
and they like okay. I give you this one example. This one young man, he was 18, 19 years old, and he said, "All I want to do is live by myself."
Yeah.
That's it. I just want to move out. I don't want to live here with my mother anymore. I'm an adult. I'm ready to move out. I said, okay. I said, well, what makes you think you're an adult and you're ready to move out? Well, I'm 18. I said, okay, nah, you gotta come up with a little something more than just you. I'm need a little more because you're 18. Okay,
Right.
that's a little more
Right.
because you're 18.
Because that show don't make you adult.
Yeah, that don't make you adult for you. Sorry. Let's try again. What makes you think if you are old enough? Well, I work and I do this and I do that. And I said, okay. So I went to mom. I said, Mom. She said, yeah, I know he wants to move out. I said, okay. I said, well, have you guys had a conversation about this? Yeah, and I told him no. I said, well, Mom, why did you tell him no? Because he's not responsible enough. Well, Mom, he is 18. And disability or no disability, he is 18. I mean, the disability
He
don't
has
count.
the right to, if he chooses
He
to.
is 18.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, most 18-year-olds, that's what they want to do.
Yep.
And so and then as we were talking, I could see the real concern start to creep in. She was like, well, what if he gets robbed? Or what if he leaves the house and don't lock the door? Or what if he forgets to cut the
Yeah.
stove off? Or what if he gets to do this? Or what if he gets to do that?
Yeah.
I said, well, Mom, see, this is where we start training him now
Yes. Yes.
for that. I said, what we do is we set up goals. A goal for a year from now, 2 years from now, or whatever the goal that you and him agree on. And by that time, he should be able to lock the door behind himself. He
Yeah.
should remember to cut the stove off. He should
Right.
remember to do certain things. I said, but you gotta prepare him
Right.
because when he gets 20, I said he's 18. You might be able to keep him for 18 until he's about maybe 23, 24. But when he gets 23, 24, and he starts sniffing behind some little girls,
What you
you won't
say?
want him out your house at that point. I
Right.
said, so you gotta prepare him. I said
Yes.
you gotta prepare him for
Yes.
those adjustments and those monument moments. I said
Yes.
just because he's 18, I mean he has a disability, doesn't mean that he does not want to live his life the way that he sees other people living his life. Yes, we understand that he has challenges. And yes, we understand that sometimes those challenges may prohibit him from doing certain things. I am very clear on that.
Yep.
But at the same token, we can't allow those challenges to interfere too much within his overall life.
Right.
I said, okay. I said, well, how about we do this? Would you feel better if you had a roommate? Like maybe his older brother or something. So it would make him feel like he was an adult. He'll feel like he's on it. He'll give him that feeling of being on his own.
Yeah.
Because he feels like if he's here with you, you're always over him and you're watching him and you're doing this and you're doing that. And he feels overwhelmed. But if he's with somebody, say, older than him, but in the same age range bracket, if you will, then he'll feel more like an adult.
Right.
I said, because that's really what he wants. He wants to feel like an adult.
Right. And I think
so,
that period comes a little bit faster for boys than it does for girls. In any realm, spectrum for, you know, disability or not. So because my daughter, that's, you know, that's kind of like the last thing on the list. And she's like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay here with you. No, ma'am, you're not staying here with me forever and ever and ever.
Well, no, my daughter tells me the same way. Olivia will tell me, no, mama, I'm staying here.
Forever. And
forever.
Yes, her dad will be fine with that, but I'm not, because like you said, I do want her to experience that. You know, now, mind you, we probably gonna have to go over there and be like, "Look, girl, this like a pigsty over here." Oh my God.
I don't know what it is about little girls in their room, because my daughter feels the same way. I'm like, you don't smell that. You do not smell that.
I done told her, look, if anything coming out of there and my house is not, ma'am, I'm gonna need you to get some stuff. You're gonna have to get it together. So my daughter will be 18 on Friday.
Okay.
So yeah, she will be 18 on Friday. So she's gonna do an internship at a hospital near us, and they have the capability that they can use the class train and you know, ride on the bus for work and stuff.
Okay.
They have to
so that gives you that independent.
Yes, they have to make the arrangement for it. So I, you know, had to make sure the application and stuff was filled out. So we got her approval for that. And I said, she was like, well, what time I gotta be here? What time they got? I said, you gotta schedule it. I said, you gotta look at the schedule, see what time you're supposed to be at work. I said, you're gonna have to schedule. I make her call in her own medication. And I was, you know, really leery because of Corona and the COVID-19, all that going on about, you know, the bus riding. But her dad was like, Arlene, at some point, you know, you got to, because I was like, I'm gonna take my baby to work. And then when I had to take her to her orientation for her dad took her the first day, then I took her the second day. I was like, no, we ain't gonna do this every day. Now, like the last 2 summers, I took her to her summer job and picked her up and all of that. But I told her, you know, you're covered. You covered. I said, Mommy is not gonna hold on so tight. I know it's going to be hard for me, but I know there are people out there that take advantage of people with disabilities when they, you know, and she's a, you know, a pretty young lady. And I said, Lord, just, you know, don't let her run into the wrong somebody. They say something and just, you know, but her focus is not like 18-year-olds, you know, a normal 18-year-old. And you know, I talked to her about sex, and that's another thing that I want to address with before I forget this part. Parents not talking to their children with disabilities about sex.
Yeah. That's something that
ain't nothing wrong with their bodies and their desires to want to. Why wouldn't you talk to them about that? I've talked to my daughter about that, and I've talked to her like I would talk to anybody about sex and having sex and that being. And I told her, you know, I cannot make that decision for you. I said, now I can say, I would hope that you would want to wait to, you're married and all that. I said, that's the traditional thing that everybody says. But if that does not happen that way, just let me know when you're ready so we can take the precautions and
Right.
we can do what needs to be done to prevent, you just protect yourself in all
Right.
situations.
Right. And I
And
think that was actually the same conversation I had with my daughter. My daughter's 14.
yeah.
And, I feel like, she's starting to talk to boys now and what have you. And, she doesn't look like the average 14-year-old. My daughter looks like she's about maybe 16, 17 years old.
Okay.
So, but getting back to what you were saying about disabilities, honey, it's like they just scared to even mention the word that.
No.
For example, I have my fiance is a DJ. She has cerebral palsy, and he has he is a DJ, and he'll DJ. He DJ parties within the disability community.
Okay.
And the workers will tell him, "Oh, you can't play that song because that song makes them feel a certain way." You know what I mean?
And
yeah. So
they get excited.
Like they just try to steer clear of that as much as possible. They don't let him play certain songs.
Oh my God!
They mention the word that. It's like it's a foreign word.
Oh
you
my
better
God!
not come up in there and talk about no sex. And I'm just like,
that does not make their body parts not react and not
right.
work. They still have the same desires and feelings we have. So why wouldn't you think at 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, you know how you was feeling, you know what you was looking for.
Wait a minute, hold on. These are grown adults I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about kids. I'm talking about 23, 24, 25, 32, 36-year-old adults I'm talking about. And they're just like, oh, well, no, we don't talk about that. We don't do that. I'm just like,
no, okay. You maybe don't do that, but they gonna do it. Because they're human.
The whole time I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, they are
talking about it, but
So how do you address that with parents to try to get them more comfortable with trying to? I
explain it to them the same way I explain. I like, look, your child has a disability, and again, this is one of those situations where I have to pray.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, okay, look. Yeah. Your child has a disability, yes.
Right.
Your child has some challenges, yes. But your child is still a person.
Right.
They still have feelings. Right. They still have emotions. They still have desires.
Yep.
Same functionality we do. The only difference is they got some challenges here and there.
Right.
That's it. Outside of that, they're the same that you and I are.
Right.
I said, you know what? I said, I'll take it a step further. Mentally, there are some people with disability mentally that don't have the cognitive ability to understand sex and understand, that. Okay, that's a different situation. But if your child has a disability and they're walking, they're talking, they're breathing, they have the cognitive ability to understand what sex is, they have the cognitive ability to understand what relationships are, then that's a different bracket. You see what I'm saying? Right. That's an entirely different ballgame. You should be having those conversations because at the end of the day, what I tell them is that you want to have those conversations with them. You don't want them to go out the street and have those conversations with somebody else. Or you don't want them to sit down with their friends and have that conversation with their friends. The outcome might be entirely different if they had it with somebody that you don't trust versus you having it with them. I said, and then what happens is because they don't know, it's that much easier to take advantage of.
Exactly.
Because they're
Exactly.
not armed with the right information. They're not armed with any information at all. So that means howdy doody. She'll walk up to them and say whatever howdy doody wants to walk up
Right.
to them and say.
Right.
And there you go.
Right. And my mother, she would say, Arlene, you tell her too much. You tell her too much. And I told her, no, I'm not going to allow her to go into the world without any preparation, without being prepared for the sheep's, the wolves in sheep's clothing, not be prepared for, you know, just life in general, because, you know, my daughter has been inside of a bubble for 18 years. And the real world, she knows about the real world. She can see me and her dad have disagreements and stuff like that. She knows about relationships. Relationships are hard. But my daughter has not faced a lot of the things that I faced growing up, because I was intentional about sheltering her. I wanted her childhood not to be tainted with certain things. How do parents protect their children when, you know, a lot of times you'll have people that may be single parents and they have to leave their children, you know, with someone, and then the kids, you know, God forbid, you know, something happens, and, you know, then, you know, they don't know how to tell their parents, or, you know, their mom or their dad, or, you know, grandma or somebody, you know, advocating for that, for children with disabilities to have a safe place, and being able to say when someone hurts them, because there's a trust factor with anybody, but then there's a huge, bigger trust issue and factor when children with disabilities, sometimes they can't communicate everything the way we can communicate it. How do you handle that situation if something like that comes up and parents ask you, or, you know, even the child says something about, you know, something like that happening?
Well, the way that I structure that is that this is what I tell. It's all about the relationship that you have with your child. That is the root of it, the relationship that you have with your child. And like, for example, you know your child inside out, upside down, left and right, and all around.
Right.
You are, and I'm almost certain, I know I can, you can look at your child and tell when there's something quite not right.
Absolutely.
You may not be able to specifically put your finger on it, but you know your child so well that you know something not quite right.
Absolutely.
Okay? Mm-hmm. And then based upon the relationship that you guys have developed, when you go and talk to her, you're going to know how to talk to her based on the relationship that you guys have created. So you're not going to go to her any kind of way, because you understand, based on this relationship that I've created with my child, I have to approach her this way to kind of understand what's going on. So I tell parents to kind of be mindful of the relationship that you create with your child, because the relationship that you create with your child is going to be what is going to create that trust factor. And it's going to enable them to feel comfortable about coming to you, telling you stuff that they may not otherwise feel comfortable telling you.
Right.
They're going to feel comfortable telling you this because they trust you.
Right.
And they know that you have their best interest at heart. So you might be somewhere and you might be at home and your child is kind of acting a little out of the ordinary or out of sorts or what have you, based on the fact that you know your child and you know how your child typically acts. Mm-hmm. Then you say, okay, there's something not right here, something going on. I can't quite put my finger on it, but there's something going on.
Right.
So then you bring that relationship component in there. You approach them in a way in which you know it's going to give you, not give you what you're looking for, but it's going to at least open the door.
Right.
Because that conversation, a conversation like that doesn't all the time happens all at once. A conversation like that sometimes happens in bits and pieces.
Okay.
So what you want to first do is open the door to the conversation. Now, when you open the door to the conversation, you might not have that conversation right then and there. You're
Right.
just letting them know that I'm here.
Right.
You want to talk? You need to talk. I'm here.
Right.
I love you. My job is to protect you at all costs.
Right.
And just know that I'm here.
Right.
And that's probably all you're going to say that in that conversation. I'm
Right.
here. You
Right.
need me. I'm here. And you're planting that seed, and you're letting them know, no matter what they got going on in their life, or no matter what has happened to them, that you're here. And you're here to listen, and you're here to support them in whatever they got going on at the time.
I know when Ari was a little girl and she would be at my mom's house or at her dad's or other grandma somewhere, I put her this close to my face. Did somebody touch you?
Well, my
Like,
daughter, like I
Mommy,
said, my daughter.
no. I'm like, are you sure? Did somebody? She'd be like, oh, Mommy, no. I'm like, okay.
Well, no, because my daughter had that conversation with me.
Yes.
I think she was 2.
Yes.
And I was getting her ready for bed, and I was explaining to her the parts of her body,
Yes.
and the parts that people are not supposed to touch, and the parts that people are okay for people to touch.
Right.
And every now and again, at 14, I asked her, like, Olivia, has anybody? Nobody ill.
Yes. I would pull her. I would pull her and right here in my face, and I'd be so close to her. She would be like, "No, Mommy, no. Look, are you telling me the truth? Don't tell me no lie." She's like, "No, ma'am, I promise I would tell you." I was like, "Are you sure?" Like 3 or 4 times before I finish, I look at her and, "Are you sure?"
I bet she would tell me. I don't know why, but I feel like you're probably her best friend.
Yes,
and I think
yes.
she would. Yeah, I think she would tell you. I really do. I don't know why I feel this way, but I feel like whatever she got going on in her life,
she does.
Mommy's gonna be the first to know.
Yep, she does. She's like, "Mommy, let me tell you." I'd be like, "Wait a minute." I was like, "Is it?" She'd be like, "I gotta say a bad word. Can I say the bad word?" I'd be like, "How bad is it?" She'd be like, "It's bad." I'm like, "Okay, wait. Let me brace myself. Okay."
But that's good that you guys have that relationship. And
yes.
you have that, you built that foundation and that relationship and that trust. So now that if she goes out into the world, I wouldn't worry about her. And let me tell you why I would say that. Because you guys have a foundation of trust.
Yes.
You guys have a foundation built from trust. And not just her trusting you, but you trusting her as well.
Yes.
And because and it's kind of more or less on those things that you never treated her like she was disabled. No. You treated her like she was your child.
Yes.
There's a big difference.
Yes.
So based upon that alone, I truly believe from the depths of my soul that if she were to go out there in that world and get into some kind of trouble, Mama be the first to know. Yes. Mama be the first to know.
Yes, yes. She better. If not, I'm gonna be like, "La girl, oh my God." She already know I'm gonna be that mama. I'm gonna be that mama. I'm gonna be that mama. I'm be like, "Hey, what's now? Didn't I, ma'am? Can we talk about this?" And she tell people all the time. She said, "Everybody just think you are so nice. I be telling them, just make them mad." She be like, "Yeah, she nice, but just make her mad. You gonna see a whole nother side of." And I said, "Look, stop telling my business. Don't get out in the street and be talking about me. Don't be telling my business." It's so funny, but everybody that knows us and that have seen our relationship and seen how she's grown and how just the love that we have for each other. And I thank God for it, because I didn't have a good relationship with my mom growing up, but I was very intentional. I was not going to be that mother with my daughter.
Yeah.
I was intentional. that I was going to create a great relationship, and we were going to be best. In my head, we were gonna be best friends. We was gonna, I don't know. But she tell everybody, she said, my mommy is my best friend. And I'd be like, oh, Area, I am. She said, yeah, you're my best friend.
Well, yeah,
So,
I tell Olivia, she's my broke best friend.
oh
And
yeah,
we
now
got
she got her little graduation stuff, so she a little all right now. So
so we got shirts made up, and it says "Mommy broke me the job," and then her shirt says "Mommy broke best friend."
oh my goodness, oh my
So we
And you know what? Just hearing about the relationship that you have with your daughter, and how you just mentor and motivate others. Thank you for that, Latrea. Thank you, Coach Latrea, because you don't meet a lot of people that want to take on the journey of being a mentor or a spokesman or spokesperson or a coach to, like I said, the forgotten community. You have a lot of people that they do it, in front of, and they, for show with a lot of stuff. But I can tell that this is something that, like you said, your heart is in it. God told you that this was your purpose. This is what you were created for. And when you're created for something and it's your heart, then it's not going to go wrong, because that's something God gave you. And that wasn't a profession that you chose. It was something He gave you.
yes,
And
ma'am.
it makes a huge, huge difference. People told me about my job, and this is my encouragement to you about my job, and about my business, and oh, women don't need, I'm tired of women, woe is me, and women don't need nobody else to, and women empowerment, all this and that and all this and that. And I told him, I said, I didn't choose this. I did not choose this for me. God chose this for me. He created me for this. He purposed me for this. So I didn't have an option with it as to say, I'm not going to do this.
Right.
So thank you. Thank you. Continue to do what you're doing. Continue to being the bright light, just the awesome example. Continue, being an advocate for the children, that you empower the adults. Keep being a bridge for the parents and the children, because a lot of parents, they don't know what to say, how to do, and just helping that mom and her son, the example that you gave, I'm sure that was a big help to him, because we just see them as our babies, and some of us have not got to that place where we think they can function without us and think that they are not going to be okay. But as much as I always joke with my daughter, I know she's going to be okay, because like I said, I know she's covered. And I've done, like you said, I never treated her like she had a disability. She was just my baby, that little girl, and everybody know that's my thing for little girl. That's my thing, little girl. She already know it's about to go down. What? And she like, oh my God. And she'll tell, did you hear her? Oh my God. There she go. And I be like, she? Who you talking about? Who is she? Cause you talking to me? Are you talking about me? No, ma'am, I'm not talking about you, but I know they be talking about me. I'm like, who is she? So, continue to have the love, the light, and the laughter for everybody. Because as people of disability and parents and communities, people act like these children will never grow up to be adults.
Right. Right.
You never know what you're putting inside of a box. That could be the first congressman, senator that is going to advocate for an entire community of people. I don't think there's nothing my daughter can't do. If she say she gonna do, baby, what you need, mama, we gonna do it. What you need? What do you need?
And that's something that I talk about on my talk show. About how we oftentimes feel like we're put in a box and we're pushed to the back of the closet and then close the door.
Mhm.
And I talk about how we have to, it starts with us.
Right.
It starts with the community.
Right.
I said, the self-acceptance or the acceptance that we're looking for starts within us. We
Right.
have to first accept ourselves.
Right.
And then in order for other people to accept us, I said, but you know what? The harsh reality is there are some people that may never accept us.
Right.
And that's okay.
It is.
It doesn't make you any less of a person. It doesn't make you any worse off or better off than you were to begin with.
Right.
They didn't add nothing to your life. They didn't take nothing from your life.
Mm-hmm.
You're still whoever God created you to be. You're still that person, whether
Amen.
they accept you or not.
Amen.
So, yeah. So,
and if you got a mama like Arlene, my baby doing this. Well, yes, she is if she want to. You want to do this? Okay, we doing it. But I allow her to have a choice. Even with everything, there was always talk, there was always discussion, and there were always you have a choice. It's
right. And I believe that that's important. I believe that that's what separates this generation from previous generation. I know my generation, because I didn't have a choice. It was do what I say do,
right?
Because I can do it,
right?
In the story,
right?
It wasn't no. Well, how do you feel about this? Or how do you think this? Well, how does this make you feel? We didn't have those kind of discussions.
Yeah.
And you know, and I say that because people tell me now that I'm too lenient with Olivia. I don't think I'm lenient with her. Cause Olivia, now look, don't get it twisted. I get with her when I gotta get with her.
Right.
And she knows I will.
Right.
At the same token, I also want her to know that I value her voice.
Yes.
I value her opinion. I value her thought. I value her ideas. She has the right to have an opinion. She has the right to have thoughts and opinions and ideas outside of what mommy thinks.
Right.
You don't have to always agree with what mommy says.
Right.
You might have to do it, but you ain't gotta agree.
Right.
You don't agree.
Right.
But that was important to me, that she was her own individual person. And that was the way I raised her. I raised her to be her own individual person, to think for herself, to act for herself, to understand that you don't always have to follow along. You can be your own individual person with your own thoughts, ideas, and opinions.
All right. All right. And Olivia has an awesome and amazing mom. So
thank you.
You are so welcome. And I promise you, I would not say it if I did not mean it. I promise you. I promise you. And
remember, you don't do fake. So
I'm like, oh, I can't. I'm not good at pretending.
Well, trust me, I'm not either.
I'm not good at pretending. My sister was like, no, you're not.
No, I can't. It's all on my face. Like,
I know.
As a kid, like, fish your face.
Yeah.
Like,
I got in trouble a lot for it. I did. Yes. And even in meetings now, I be like,
yeah.
I'm trying, and I'm like, I know it's tore up, and I'm talking to myself, trying to untear it up, but it won't move.
Like, no,
I'm like, Arlene, bring it down, do something.
I gotta.
Yes.
Get it together.
Lord Jesus. And I told him I'd be praying all the time for him.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, Lord, you love me. Why you left me on the, you know I wasn't gonna do right when I went in there. Why did you leave me and let me go in there by myself?
But I told you, because my mouth, I have a willy-nilly mouth, and I would just say the first thing that came. If it looks stupid, I would say that's stupid. With the straightest face, like, that's stupid.
No,
And
I
I know
used to
that
have, but I
oh,
be like,
sorry.
that
But I say it
absolutely
out loud.
makes no sense. And I be
No.
looking like it makes no sense.
Oh,
And I had one of my friends, she go like this.
and it's like, but why are you co-signing the foolishness? You know that don't make no sense.
Oh yes. Oh my goodness. So I am just more than sure that Olivia and Ariel both will be a force to reckon with, because they've had two mothers that have shown them the power of using their voice.
Yes,
That there is a need for your voice to be heard. And I tell everybody all the time, it was intentional that I named my business Hear My Cry. It was for a reason. And it was all purposeful. And that's to give women a voice all over the world. We have not always had a voice, and our voice has not always been valued. But hear my cry. I have something to say. So I thank you so very much. I'm not gonna hold you any longer. And but thank you. Thank
you
you.
are so welcome. I feel it to be an honor to be on your platform and to share with the lovely people of your platform. I appreciate the honor, and yes, I thank you. I thank you.
You are
And I'm glad to
absolutely
have
so
you on my
welcome.
talk show next.
Yes, please just let me know when. Let me know when. Now tell the people about all of your platforms, how to follow you, your talk show, and how to get in contact with you. Just let us know that information.
Okay, so on Facebook, I am Coach Latrea. I have a coaching page. Well, I have two coaching pages. I have Woman of Impact, Latrea Wyche.
Okay.
And then Latrea is spelled Latee, T as in Tom, REA, Wyche is WYCHE.
Okay.
And then I have a disabilities page called I Am More Than My Disability,
Okay.
where I post various things about disability, rights and information about disability there. Let's see, that's Facebook. Instagram, I am Coach Latrea. I think Coach Latrea 79. Coach Latrea 79 on Instagram.
Okay.
On LinkedIn, I think I'm just Latrea on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Just type in Latrea on LinkedIn. I think that's what it is on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And then on Twitter is Coach Latrea. The name of my talk show is called Uniquely Designed, and it could be seen on Roku TV and Amazon Fire Stick or the Exposure on Demand channel.
Okay.
I target African American women with disabilities. We talk a lot about, about our place in the community. We talk a lot about, our place in society, our place in mainstream media. We talk about African American issues as it relates to disability. We talk about police brutality as it relates to disability. As a matter of fact, I have a show coming up where we're going to be talking about self-advocacy and the importance of understanding why it's so important to self-advocate for yourself as a person with a disability. Okay. And then I have another show coming up where we're going to be talking about, I'm going to be talking to a good friend of mine who has a nonprofit that is specifically for women with disabilities.
Okay.
I think it's called Disabled Women Narrative. Okay. And it's nonprofit. She has a nonprofit for women with disabilities. And so those are the two shows that I'll be having coming up soon.
Okay, well, whatever you want. I'm so excited. I would love to be a part of it if you would like me to be a part.
Okay. So well, I will have to go back and look at my schedule to see when I got an opening, and I will send you the information.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Thank you so much for the invitation. So I'm excited about it. But I will go and follow you on your platforms. And thank you so much for being a part of Hear My Cry Sisterhood. We appreciate it. And thank you for just welcoming me in. You ladies were so kind to me and sharing your stories. And I was like, I want to talk to you. You got to be, a part of the Hear My Cry. community, the sisterhood, and I am a woman of my word. So
Well, that's good. That's good. Thank you so much again for the opportunity. I really, really, really appreciate it. And I guess that's it.
yes, ma'am, that is it. And you have a blessed night. Tell your family thank you so much for allowing me to take you away from them for a little while. And I'll get this and everything, and I'll send you a copy of it as well. I have your email address, so I'll get
Yes,
that over
ma'am.
to you. All righty, thank you. You have a blessed night.
You too. Bye.
All right, bye bye.